a moment of silence for my thank you cards. I created these thank you cards on Canva and I created about 100. They're about $60. So I did them myself. Talk about things that I would have done differently on my wedding day. Let me grab my cup of coffee because it's early. It's early. 8 o'clock, but it's early. I love this mug so much. Like, this is my favorite mug. I got it at a Planned Parenthood luncheon, and make good trouble because that's exactly who I am. I'm gonna cause havoc. I am that person. Anyways, okay. So now that wedding planning, excuse me, let's try this again. Oh my God. Now that the wedding is over and wedding planning is over and we've had a little bit of time to settle into our married life, I thought it would be such a great idea to talk about things that did not work, things I would have done differently, and a recap of what my wedding day was like. You know, if you're planning a wedding or if you're a 2026 2027 bride, I hope this video provides all the information that you need. I'm gonna have about 3 videos within this post-wedding series. The first one will talk about regrets, also known as things I would have done differently, because I have absolutely no regrets about my wedding day. The next video is going to be a budget, the total cost of my wedding, what we initially budgeted, how much we spent, and a breakdown of those expenses. And then the last video will be registry items, what to do, what not to do, and things like that. That's pretty much what the post-wedding series is gonna look like for the next upcoming 3 videos. I'm still waiting on the videographer to send the wedding video, so that will be coming soon. And then my photographer hasn't sent out the full gallery. We just received sneak peeks, so I will show a little bit of sneak peeks. I also did have a content creator package, so I do have some videos, raw footage from the day that I will also be inserting in this video particularly. I want to start by saying our wedding day was truly the best day of my life. I am not even saying that I'm not exaggerating, because I truly do mean it. From the start to the end, it was everything that at least I wanted and more. I don't know about Bryant, maybe he can speak for himself, but I know that he was very much happy with how the wedding turned out and the turnout, just the whole day in general, right? It was really lovely getting to see like family members, friends. Of course, I only had one family member on my side, which was my grandmother, but I'm super content about that. I do regret, honestly, not having more of my friends, more of, I guess you could say, family. I don't have a large family at all, but I had friends, I had co-workers. Bryant had friends, co-workers, second cousins, first cousins, second cousin once removed. Girl, the list goes on. He's got a huge family, so it was really nice just having everyone in one space and being able to celebrate and have that support. Yeah, I think having people there, at least for me, that have seen me in different seasons, be present with me or be there to celebrate me in this season, was truly a full circle moment, and it was just amazing. It was just so amazing. And I will say, not for me though, like I thought that I was gonna be that person that was gonna be really stressed about everything when the day came. But when that date came, I kid you not, all I wanted to stress about was getting on time to the venue so I could get ready. Other than that, everything was out of my hands. I know that I did what I could. If something were to go wrong, I would let my coordinator deal with it. It was very stressful planning this wedding because I only had 4 months to plan it, and I decided to plan it myself because I knew what we wanted, and I wanted to encapsulate both of our personalities and the things that we value for our wedding. And that's why I didn't have anybody help me but me, you know, or us, I guess you could say. So I'm just gonna start with the best parts of the day. So the best part of the day for me was we spent that morning together. We woke up together, went to go get coffee, went to go get breakfast. We spent that morning together because it was important for us to be able to spend the best day of our life together. as much as we could. I know some weddings people separate, or they don't see each other for the whole weekend or for that morning or whatever the case might be, but I wanted to be with my husband and he wanted to be with me. So I feel like that was setting the right intention for the start of our lives. And from the moment the day started to the moment it ended, we were together, except for the time where I had to go get ready, and that whole 3 hours we were not together. But for the entirety of the day, we were together. I also did not have a wedding party. I do not regret that at all, actually. I cannot imagine the stress of having to manage bridesmaids, their makeup, their hair, all of that. Like, no. Baby, I'm already planning a whole wedding. I do not want to be managing other people. So yeah, I don't regret that. What I should have done though is I should have had my friend Zagiti ended up being kind of like playing the role of my maid of honor, and it worked out the way that it needed to work out, but she was not like an official maid of honor. Like, she just stepped up and did whatever she needed to do, and for that, boo, I love you. I hope you know that. But I got ready in the morning by myself, or at least when I was getting ready, doing my makeup, hair, I got ready by myself because that's what I wanted. Again, I did not want to be getting ready with my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, or my grandmother. Like, y'all get ready elsewhere. I'm gonna do me by myself in this room. So that, like, and I love that. I think at this point we're doing all the things that I loved. There hasn't been really any regrets yet, but I just loved spending that time by myself. And then my friend Zagiti came about 2 hours later into the room, steamed my veil, helped me get ready, things like that. So that's just what worked for me. And I would do it again and again. Let's start over. I keep getting carried away filming this video because I want to talk about almost everything. But at the same time, I don't want to talk about everything because I want to get to the yes. Okay, so biggest regret honestly for me is not having a bigger wedding. I know that's crazy. That is wild for me to even say that. I wanted to elope. Okay, I wanted to elope. I wanted a smaller wedding. And my husband was like, no, we need to at least be able to invite all the people that we want to invite. So I'm like, okay, let's have a micro wedding. And I think I was just getting overwhelmed by the number of people we had initially invited, because it totaled up to 180 invitations were sent out. 180. So we were about to have a 200 people wedding, but luckily like 80 of those people declined. So we had about 107 people show up for our wedding. So at the time I was super relieved, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we're still gonna have a small wedding, because to me 100 at the time was like too many people. I was like, we are not doing this, right? But because the more people you invite, the pricier your wedding gets. You need more food, more beverages, more staff to take care of the, like, it just increases the price, right? The cost of the wedding. So I was content with the number, but then on actual wedding day, I wish we had invited more people, at least on my side too. I was very, very, very strict about inviting people who knew me, people that I like were part of my journey in some ways, people that have seen me in different seasons of life. That's what my guest list essentially was encapsulated, or that's what it had, like those people, right? And in essence, I'm like, I wish I would have just invited people that, yes, were not acquaintances, right? But we've shared a season. Like, yes, it's not seasons, but we've shared a season. I think having more people, I don't know, we should have just invited more people. My second regret, or something I would have done differently, is not having a longer cocktail hour. Our cocktail hour was for 1 hour, but we were running about 15 minutes behind. So that cut our cocktail hour into 45 minutes. And during cocktail hour, we were taking our family portraits. So we did not get a chance to mingle with our guests. And I'm okay with that. Like, I wasn't really bummed, but I saw like some guests would want to come and try and talk to us or congratulate us. But my coordinator was running a strict program, okay? She was guiding people to not talk to us right now because we're trying to get things done, because the more we talk, the more delayed we're gonna become. So maybe I would have pushed cocktail hour to maybe an hour and 15, maybe have that buffer in case we went behind schedule. But it is what it is. Cocktail hour was amazing. People loved the drinks. Our 3 cocktails, or we had signature cocktails, and I'll put the cocktail sign on here. I think we had a French Lavender 75. That was her drink. That's my beverage. And then for Bryant, his drink was a old fashioned, and then our drink was a margarita. And then we had white wine, we had red wine, and we also had a couple of beers. So I think in all, cocktail hour. Oh, we also had appetizers served during cocktail hour. So they had servers with a tray passing around some appetizers. So I did not even get to taste those appetizers. I don't know if they were good or not. My coordinator did bring us like 1 appetizer and 1 cocktail like right after we got married, because we 10 to 15 minutes to ourselves to just kind of like, oh my god, we just got married kind of thing. So Jewish weddings happen typically on Sunday, and because we somewhat had a Jewish interfaith wedding, our wedding was on Sunday. People have to go to work on Monday, so I kind of wish we had a bit of an earlier start in some ways. But I wanted our wedding to be around golden hour for the photos and things like that. This is what our timeline looked like. 5 p.m. ceremony would start, ends at 5:30. 5:30 to 6:30 was cocktail hour. 6:45, that's when reception would start. And then we would do dinner, speeches, cake, dances. And then we had a second dance, a surprise choreographed dance, which was Time of Our Life, Dirty Dancing. And then after that, it was just dancing, partying, and then we had a milkshake bar open for like late hour, right? So that's what our timeline looked like. In some ways, I'm like, okay, well, if we would have pushed it up to like 3 or 4, that would have been still okay, because at some point we would have still gotten our golden hour photos, and then people would be there a bit longer, because once it hit 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, people started heading out, which I'm like, I get it, you've got work tomorrow. And yeah, but then pushing it up earlier, I don't know. In some ways, I don't think this is something I would have done differently, because typically in Texas around spring, typically it's starting to get a bit hot. So if you do something towards the end of the day, that's when it starts to cool off and things like that. And it did cool off. And that week it was raining. So girl, I was checking the weather religiously because we did not have a contingency plan. Our wedding was outside. At least our ceremony was outside and our reception was indoors. Maybe I would have had an earlier start, but at the same time, that's something that I would have done to cater more to my guests than what I wanted. And then this is a slight regret, honestly. Like, I don't think it's something I would have done differently, because I'm such a logical thinker. I try to be a bit more logical, I guess. But I regret, honestly, not having more flowers, not having a bigger budget for flowers. And I don't know what I would have cut. Maybe I would have cut, I don't know, I would have figured it out. But I wish we had a bigger flower budget. Our flowers were already gonna cost, especially at the ceremony, like aisles felt a bit empty. So I feel like we should have put an arrangement next to each row versus one in the beginning and one at the end. But at the same time, we got married at the Botanical Gardens. There's literally flowers all over us. We're in this beautiful area. So in some ways, did we really need flowers? I think so. I think having more flowers would have made it feel more like a wedding. Maybe it would have been a wasteful expense, and it probably would have been. And that's why we ended up stingy about our flower budget, because they're gonna die the next day, right? Flowers do not last forever. And my bouquet was a dream. I loved my bouquet. I wanted something unique. One thing about me, I'ma do me, and I wanted the hanging amaranthus. I wanted the calla lilies. I wanted all these flowers that were not basic. In the flower world, they call them luxury flowers. So my bouquet was like $300. So it was a luxury bouquet, and I loved it so much. But I wish I saw most of the flowers look like my bouquet, right? Because in order to save money, we used a lot less luxury flowers on the basic arrangements. And anyways, I just wish we spent more on flowers. But I feel like I would have not justified that in that planning phase. I would have said absolutely not. And knowing me, it's a regret, but it's something that I wouldn't have done, honestly. But I wish we spent more on flowers. I think something I would have done differently is at least dedicate time to speaking to our guests. I get it, it's a wedding. You're not there to talk to the bride and groom and to like catch up. But in some ways, I wish we would have at least said hi to everyone there. But we just did not have enough time. We did not have enough time because we had a schedule. And also, there's so many people to say hi to. It's impossible, right? So I felt a little bit bad not being able to talk to people. But at the same time, it's like, it's a wedding. But I think this goes back to cocktail hour. If we would have had enough time during cocktail hour, we would have been able to say hi to people. So yeah, I think that's a regret or something I would have done differently. I don't know. Same thing, just worded differently. One is a bit more positive and one is a bit more negative. I lost my train of thought because I had to change my battery. My camera was dying. But I guess to wrap up the video, I do not miss wedding planning at all. That was the most stressful event I've ever had to plan in my entire life. I do feel as if I did a bomb-ass good job at it. I held my composure. I kept it together. I took one for the team. But no, yes, it was very stressful. I do not recommend it. If you have the budget and the finances to hire a wedding planner, I recommend that you do, because yes, I was able to do it myself, but at what cost? Child, I almost hated every part of it, honestly. And I think the reason is I had a full-time job. I'm working in social work. My job is not easy. It's emotionally costing. And then I'm having to speak to vendors in my breaks during my lunchtime after work. And then I have to get ready for the next day. I have to go exercise. I have to pack dinner. I have to pack lunch. I have to make dinner. I have to go dress shopping, alterations, figure this, that. I was busy. And in some ways, I kind of miss it. But I also don't miss it as well because was I a bridezilla? For sure, I was probably a bridezilla, and my husband has never met that version of me. I had to be a type A person, which I am a type A person, but I've retired from being type A because your girl is tired from being type A. I've tapped into my type B personality and it's going well so far, honestly. I feel a lot more relaxed as an individual. But anyways, wedding planning is not for the weak. And I'm so glad that I set those boundaries in the beginning. Hey, mother-in-law, appreciate your help, but if it's not warranted, don't give it to me. Keep your opinions to yourself, things like that. And because we were planning a Jewish interfaith wedding, there's certain elements about Judaism that I do not know, especially on the cultural side, because we did not have a religious Jewish wedding. It was more of having a yarmulke, breaking of the glass, did the 7 blessings, we had a ketubah, and then on my side, ring warming. So before the rings got to us, we had our guests pray over our rings, say a little blessing, say a little prayer over our rings before they came to us. And I think I wanted that because these people are here to support us. And in some ways, how can I make our guests feel a part of it too? And that was making our guests be a part of our ceremony. We put our rings in a see-through box, and then they would just pray over it because we do not want fingerprints on the rings or for somebody to drop it. And then, yes, so we had that. And then I had a little program. I made a program, which I'm gonna show it to you guys. Let me go get it. So let me take a sip. So these were the yarmulkes for the guests. Bryant had his own special yarmulke that I got off of Etsy. And then all the guests, if you were Jewish and you could wear a yarmulke. So we had them in this pretty lavender color. The overall theme or the color scheme for the wedding was more like a spring garden-esque kind of, we wanted colors, and the color scheme, at least in my mind, was gonna be like a burgundy. I can actually show you guys the Pinterest board. So these were the wedding colors, or at least this is what I wanted the wedding colors to look like. And again, I did not know how everything was gonna come together because, again, I have never planned a wedding before. Our flowers were to T, what I showed you, to the T. And for our yarmulkes inside, it had our names in there. And then it has the little hair clip to put your hair in. We had these for guests that were Jewish, and if you wanted to wear a yarmulke, you could. If it was a religious Jewish wedding, then everybody would have to wear a yarmulke, whether you're Jewish or not. It was optional. And then this is the program that I made. Let me just, I don't know if y'all could see it. So it would say that. Had the little timeline, and then a little guide to our wedding. The ring warming. It's hafakot, right? Hafafot. We did that. And then we had a little kiddush and the ketubah, what it meant. And then we had breaking of the glass. And then a little mazel tov moment. And then that guest awards, first to RSVP. A map of where all our guests traveled from. And then a little quiz moment to guess where our mini moon will be. And then a little thank you at the end. I made this program. I remember that day I was chugging a lot of Red Bulls trying to I think I did this a week before the wedding. Me and my last minute self. Diamonds are made under pressure, baby. You know? Yeah. And what else? I'm trying to think what else I can share. Our wedding was the best day ever. I don't really have much regrets. I'm so glad, as I said, that we had a wedding. And we have those memories for us, right? And yeah, wedding gave us beautiful moments, honestly. Essentially, the life that we are about to build together is what matters most, right? We're gonna have such an amazing time as husband and wife. We're already kind of goofy already. So I'm excited for what the future holds for us in terms of the wedding. And girl, wedding planning, 4 out of 10. But having the actual wedding, 10 out of 10. Can't think of anything else right now. So that's pretty much a little wedding recap / things I would have done differently. And in the next video, of course, we will talk about budget and how much we actually spend on our wedding. And then after that, we will have a little registry video where we talk about what worked for us registry wise, and if you should do or gift or whatever. If you are a recent bride or a newlywed, tell me a little bit more about your regrets and things that you loved so much. And other than that, I will see you guys in these keep sliding. Oh my gosh. Also, side note, I got these glasses. I don't know if I ever said that, but my eyesight's we're not gonna talk about that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.